Good Sunday morning to you, friends. I hope that each and every one of you is doing as well as you ever could be on this day. I would like to begin our worship this morning by reading to you from the book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 55. This particular part of Isaiah comes at a period when the exiles of Jerusalem, those Hebrews who had been taken out of their homes and held in captivity in Babylon for 70 years, for 3 long generations, when they finally were hearing the promise of going home. For you shall be led out in joy and be led back in peace. The mountains and the hills before you shall burst into song, and all the trees of the field shall clap their hands. Instead of the thorn shall come up the cypress, instead of the briar shall come up the myrtle. And it shall be to the Lord for a memorial, for an everlasting sign that shall never be cut off. This is the word of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God. Most of you all know that for many years, in fact, since our kids were tiny, since they were little babies, we would come from Georgia, where we lived, and spend June and July and part of August in our little cabin, in Nye, Montana. And, you know, that was truly my happy place. It's just a joyful, wonderful experience to get to go there. And I would anticipate that all year long. And we would get there and have the most wonderful time. And always when, August began to roll around and it was time for the children to go back to school, we would have to leave. And they would usually leave, Christy and Katie and Henry, they would leave a few days before me, and I would sort of break down the cabin and try to get my head right about having to go back to Georgia. And one of the songs I would listen to over and over and over again during those days when I was sitting on a porch feeling sorry for myself about having to leave Montana. It's a song by Robert Earl Keen and Lyle Lovett, both Texas singer-songwriters. And the song is called This Old Porch. And it talks about the memories that an old porch on an old house has accumulated. And one of the last lines in the song says, "This old porch," it's just a lot about waiting and forgetting, remembering the coming back and not crying about the leaving, remembering the falling down and the curse of luck from all those sons of other people who said we'd never get back up. I love that song. Remembering the coming back and not crying about the leaving. This morning I have to share with all of you whom I love so much some news that is going to require us to focus on remembering the coming back and not crying about the leaving. In just the last couple of days, I have gotten word that there is a slot on a clinical trial back at Emory in Atlanta, which represents the best medical treatment for the disease that I have, multiple myeloma. It's called a CAR T treatment. And what it does is it trains your own immune system to attack the cancer cells that are in your body. So as a result of that, and as a result of the fact that, unfortunately, this cancer, which has been fairly well held at bay for a long time, has now sort of exploded in a way that's troubling, to say the least, and a little bit threatening. So it's very fortunate that there is this treatment available at this time. As a result of that, I'm going to be gone. And I wish I could tell you this news in person. I wish that we could join hands and pray about it together. But as you all know, that's not possible right now. So I want to tell you what I can now. I will be gone for 5 months. I'm shooting to be back October 1st. This is a long period, a medical adventure. I'm trying to think of it as, which involves, just long periods of fairly aggressive interventions. I'll be in the hospital for between 2 weeks and 4 weeks, and then I'll have to be very close at hand near a hospital for them to keep watch over me for another, 2 to 4 weeks, just depending on how everything goes. And then there's a period of time, a 6 week to 2 month period, which will begin tomorrow. I'll fly out first thing Tuesday morning to begin this. So here are a couple things I want y'all to be aware of. One is, getting to be with you, getting to be the person who brings the word to y'all every week, getting to know you and be involved in your lives, getting to be your pastor has been, without question, the high honor and great privilege of my life, and I thank you for that. And I anticipate continuing that October 1st. I'm not the church. You are the church. So you all are going to be absolutely fine. This is it's a strange period anyway, because we are dealing with each other and holding together by video, which is unusual. And I think when we get back together, church is probably going to look a little different, be a little different for everybody everywhere. So this is just a difference on top of a difference. But I know that you all are going to be fine. Joanne Verwolf, who's chair of the SPRC committee, is going to be conducting a meeting this week, and Jan Whitman, our district superintendent, will be involved in that. And the SPRC committee, working together with Jan, will come up with a plan for the next 5 months and how to best cover you all in the manner that is most important to y'all. The most important thing is that you all get what you need for the next 5 months as we are going through this together. Now, I have every confidence in the world in Joanne in being able to do this job at this time. As some of you may remember, this sweater that I'm wearing, one of my favorite old sweaters, had a gaping hole in the elbow. And Joanne, look at that. Joanne has sewn together the holes that were in my elbows. She's patched them in a way that will hold them together for a long, long time. And I know that Joanne is going to patch this situation together in a way that is going to make it stronger and even better than it was in the past. One thing I want you all to know is I'm going to return every penny of the salary that I get during this period. And that money can be used to pay for, a temporary minister or whatever situation ultimately results. You all will not have to find additional money to pay an additional person. I'm going to just donate all of that back to the church, and I want you to know that. I also want you all to know just how very much I care about you. And in the short time that we have gotten to know one another, you guys have just made, an indelible mark in my life. It's like a thumbprint in clay. You guys have formed and shaped me. You have influenced our family. You have shown us love and a warmth and a hospitality that is just deeply touching. And I know that you are going to be able to hold one another up in this period. The people of this church are remarkable in their ability to take care of one another. And you guys have an incredible ability to be the church in the world and help people in the community. And you also, you have those incredible skills that you use on behalf of each person in the church. So I'm confident that you all will be able, you're going to hold together and be just fine in this period. I know you're going to be worried about us, and I just want you to know that this treatment that I'm going for is the state of the art. It is the very best and most promising treatment that is available for this cancer. The good news about this particular treatment is once you do it, and it's no fun, going through a month in the hospital or more, and I'm especially resentful of that occurring in the middle of a Montana summer. I'm going from, summer in Montana, which is the very best in the world, to summer in Georgia, which is hot as 10 hells and, unpleasant in most every way. But anyway, once we get through this, I should be disease-free for a period of time, which means I don't have to take any chemotherapy. There will be no treatments. There's no maintenance therapy, no maintenance treatments. And, for the first time really in our time together, I will be completely healthy. So I'm looking forward to that, to being able to, be with you all and sort of give you the full measure of my energy, which, it may or may not be a good thing. I want to share with you, and I would ask you maybe to remember as you're praying for us. There are a couple of quotes that I held very close to my heart and that got me through the early days of my diagnosis and have been something I've said to myself. I've memorized them and I've held them close for all the difficult times that I've had since then. The first is a quote from the Bible. And it is, "Wherefore, seeing we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us set aside every weight and the sin that does so easily beset us, and let us run with perseverance the race that is set before us." The other is a quote from Winston Churchill, which I shared with y'all a couple of weeks ago, which is, "We shall not fail or falter. We will not weaken or tire. Neither the sudden shock of battle nor the long-drawn trials of vigilance and exertion shall wear us down. Give us the tools, and we will finish the job." What I pray for in this time, friends, is that God will give us the tools to get through this time. That God will allow me to come back to you fully healthy and ready to finish the job as nearly as any of us can finish the job of worshiping God and serving neighbor in our church and in the Bitterroot Valley and in the greater world. I don't want you to worry about me. I don't want you to stress about what's going to happen with the church. I promise you that all of this will be well. I do covet your prayers, and I ask for them, not just for me, but also for my family, Christy always bears the brunt and carries the heaviest weight of anything that happens, and that will certainly be the case here. She has insisted, and I'm so grateful, and she'll be by my side every minute of this. She's going to sleep in that god-awful little hospital bed beside me for 2 weeks or 4 weeks, however long I need to be there. You know, there's no decision I've ever made that has been better or wiser or more fortunate than marrying Christy Guarino. She has been, she's truly a godsend. She has been an angel in every moment of my life, and my soulmate and teammate and playmate and all that I've done. So I would ask that you pray for her strength and patience in dealing with this situation. Like the prophet Isaiah said in our reading, we can hope for a future that will come soon, when all of us can return to that church that we love, when we will be led back in singing and in joy, and when even the trees of the field will wave their hands at us in the wonderful ecstasy of the homecoming that we will all share. God bless you. God bless everything you do. And just know that to God, you are a beautiful and wonderful person. And to me, you are a miracle and a great joy in getting to know. Until we can talk again, may the warmth of God's love cover you like a blanket, and may the light of God's wisdom show you the path, and may you feel love and comfort and joy in all the things that you do. In Jesus' holy name, amen.